So after featuring Resonance Insect and Gokipole, the next ones are the Battle Wasp monsters, so our other normal summons that are one-card combos. The advantage the Battle Wasp monsters have is that they are very good at baiting Impermanence and Effect Veiler, and if you have another normal summon in hand, you can just adapt your combo and full combo anyways. So in this hand we open Scout Buggy again and we open the Counter Trap. The Scout Buggy basically is what it was before too, so just imagine we have one more card at the end. And Counter Trap gets searched during the combo too, so instead of the Counter Trap we just grab a random Beetrooper monster of our Beetrooper fusion monster. Our sense this time will be Gokipole and Scout Buggy. We revive Scout Buggy, bring back the second Scout Buggy, and go into Armor Horn. This is important here because we don't want to use a regular normal summon yet. We bring back Gokipole, go into Pick of Arena to get Resonance Insect into rotation, and Gokipole searches specifically for Assault Roller here, because we needed to go into Saturnus later on. Now we go into Atlas, grab Supply Soldier, banish Resonance Insect, that triggers Supply Soldier, and now we can go into Saturnus. Like I said earlier, here Saturnus just grabs a Scale Bomber instead of the Counter Trap. Now we grab Scary Moth from skill, bring back the Armor Horn to trigger the Saturnus. Saturnus brings back Sting Lancer, which grabs the fusion spell. Then we summon Light Flapper with Atlas, get back our resources, and now we're basically in the end setup again. So we summon Heavy Cavalry, we tribute for Scary Moth, and we set our Counter Trap. The second Arbalest combo is the one that you should go for if you really want Bottomless on your end board. So we start off the same way as before, we send Gokipole and Scout Buggy to the graveyard, revive the Scout Buggy, go into Armor Horn. So we get our normal summon later on. Revive Gokipole, go Pick of Arena to get Resonance Insect into rotation. And this time we grab Mermeadow as our second normal summon because we want to have a trap hole. So we go into Atlas, Resonance Insect gives us Supply Soldier. And now we actually have to grab the Light Flapper from deck, so we can fuse it off from hand and get it in graveyard. So we grab a Beetrooper Spell Trap and then we fuse Sting Lancer and Light Flapper, so both are in the graveyard, so we can banish them. We get back the Armor Horn, which gives us our second send, Sting the Poison for Papillon. Banishing the Armor Horn for Papillon will give us the summon. Flapper gets back our resources, and now we can just go a Mellow and then we go Heavy Cavalry. And we end on double back row instead of Scary Moth. The last normal summon that we will combo with is Battle Wasp Sting the Poison. It is a deceptively strong starter because it frees up a Resonance Insect, meaning we can have one less Resonance Insect in rotation and still full combo. We can set Counter Trap after we go into the Link 4. And we are also free to recycle our Armor Horn from the Banish pile with Saturnus effect. So it gives you better follow-up and it goes into Papillon combo with double back row. So we open Scout Buggy again. So just imagine that we have one more card at the end. We send Scout Buggy, we revive Scout Buggy, we go into Armor Horn. Armor Horn uses its additional normal summon, so we keep our normal summon for later. We grab an Extender, go into Pick of Arena, get Resonance Insect into rotation. Now, Resonance Insect we can grab Supply Soldier, And now we can actually set counter trap with skill. Now revive the armor horn. And Gokipol can actually grab an additional resonance insect here. Or Mamello if we want the traps. In this case Mamello gets tributed, Light Flapper. Now we go into Saturnas and we will trigger it with the Banish of Armor Horn. And now we can bring back the Armor Horn, so we have a lot better follow-up. Now we summon Cavalry, and that's it for the combo. If you don't need a trap hole or want to go into Scary Moth with Sting the Poison, you can do that too. That combo is not as resilient into hand traps, but it has a very big payoff because it is a really strong board. So here we send Resonance Insect instead of Sting Lancer, but we still start off with Buggy into Armor Horn to get our Sting the Poison, grab an Extender, and go into Picofalina to get a second Resonance Insect into rotation, which we need. So now the first Resonance Insect charge triggers, but we already have Supply Soldier, so we just grab a Kaiju. The skill grabs Scary Moth now, and we tribute Atlas to trigger the Supply Soldier from hand. This way we get Sting Lance into rotation. Now we can fuse off into Saturnus and grab Counter Trap. Extra Monster Zone is fine because we need the zones in the main Monster Zone. Now we banish double Resonance Insect. So we get Gokipol and Light Flapper into rotation. We summon a Sword Roller to banish the Light Flapper, and Light Flapper grabs back our follow-up. Then we go into Papillon. Now we go Heavy Cavalry, and in the end we tribute summon Scary Moth. And now we will get into the strongest combos of the deck. The Buggy lines that don't require normal summon to start off. The first one I will showcase is actually 3 cards. It is either Soul Roller or Aztekipede or Dozer. They are essentially the same card to start off this combo. So the send for this is always Resonance Insect plus Scout Buggy. And first we need to revive Scout Buggy and go into Armor Horn. Because if we start off the combo with Dozer, we need to banish 2 insects from graveyard. And Resonance Insect will be the second of those insects. So we banish Resonance Insect, get Gokipol, get another Resonance Insect, link it off for Picofalena, and search our Supply Soldier. And get a third Resonance Insect from deck. This time we need to summon the Supply Soldier early, so when we shuffle back with Picofalena we also summon the Supply Soldier. Now as we go into Atlas, we add Sting Lancer from deck to hand, so Supply Soldier can fuse off with it into Saturnus. Saturnus adds the fusion spell, and Armor Horn comes back, banishing the Sting Lancer, which we now can bring back with Saturnus. At this point, Sting Lancer grabs Beetrooper Descent because of Picofalena draw we drew the counter trap, which it would normally add at this point. So now we summon Light Flapper from deck, bring back our resources. We didn't use skill yet, so we grab Scary Moth. And now we just go into the regular setup of Papillon, Scary Moth and Heavy Cavalry. The second combo is the sequence that you want to follow if you want to set up a bottomless trap hole in your opening board instead of Scary Moth. So the start is basically the same, this time with Aztekipede instead of Assault Roller. We send the same cards to graveyard, we summon Buggy first, we go into Armor Horn. But this time, when banishing the Resonance Insect and sending Goki Pole, we want to add Mermello to hand. Since we already opened it, we just add a useless card instead. So Mermello grabs a trap hole, then we go into Picofalena to get Resonance Insect into rotation. So now the Resonance Insect can grab Supply Soldier, and with skill we actually get Light Flapper this time, because we need to get Light Flapper and Sting Lancer into rotation. So now we fuse both of them off to go into Saturnus in the extra monster zone to have space. Now we can just go into a regular end board. So we go Heavy Cavalry, we bring back Light Flapper, Resonance Insect sends Sting the Poison to graveyard, Light Flapper gets back our resources, now we go Papillon, and then we set a background, we're done. Next we'll look into the Supply Soldier lines. This one is basically the same as the Sting Lancer line, but instead of 4600 life points you will end on 6000 life points. Also, instead of Supply Soldier, at the end of the combo you will fuse off a high level insect monster from your hand. So we still send the same cards as in the Sting Lancer line, so we send Sting Lancer and Scout Buggy, but we revive Scout Buggy. Scout Buggy activates, we summon Supply Soldier, then we use our monsters on field to fuse into Saturnus and grab something to banish from graveyard. Since we already have that, we just search something else, doesn't matter what. So now we grab back Sting Lancer grabs a fusion spell, and at this point you can also, if you think your opponent doesn't play Nibiru, you can just grab the counter trap instead, because then you can discard it off Picofalena and have a free set in end phase. So now we go into Picofalena, discard something, get Resonance Insect and rotation, get back resources, draw something, go into Atlas, search Scary Moth, and now, because we didn't add counter trap, we can set it from deck. The rest is basically the same, so summon back Armor Horn, send Goki Pole gets Mermello, Mermello gets summoned with the extra normal summon, we grab a trap hole, Light Flapper adds back our resources, we summon Scary Moth because we only have one special summon left, and then we summon Heavy Cavalry. The other line will end on Papillon, Heavy Cavalry and Scary Moth with counter trap. So right here from this hand we will not use anything except the Supply Soldier. We get back Scout Buggy activates, Supply Soldier activates and summons. We fusion summon into Saturnus. We grab Assault Roller to banish the Sting Lancer. Saturnus summons back Sting Lancer grabs us Fusion Spell. And like in the earlier combo, if you think you won't get hand trapped, you can also add trap at this point, because you can just send it to graveyard with the Picofalena we are about to summon now and set it back in the end phase, which basically nets you an additional card. So from there the line looks very familiar, I think. To combo, we bring back Armorhorn, Resonance Insect and Skokipole. Skokipole adds another Resonance Insect, because we also want to have Sting the Poison in the graveyard for Papillon. So we trigger Light Flapper, we trigger Resonance Insect, and we actually summon Doom Dozer, because that banishes the other Resonance Insect and gets us Sting the Poison into the graveyard. And from there we summon Heavy Cavalry, and that concludes our turn. Next we'll be looking into combos with Beetrooper landing. This combo requires an additional random insect monster in hand, but it ends on a very strong board. Although the first line doesn't really play that well into Nibiru. So right here we just use the Gokibo as the random insect, or Scary Moth, doesn't really matter because we search everything we need anyways. So we go into Saturnus, grab a Sword Roller to banish the Sting Lancer. Saturnus summons back the Sting Lancer, and Sting Lancer grabs Counter Trap. Because we play into Nibiru anyways, we go Pico Falena first, discard the Counter Trap. Now we go into Armorhorn, get our Gokipole, get our Resonance Insect, search for Supply Soldier, shuffle back, now we go into Atlas, Armorhorn summons itself back and sends Gokipole to graveyard, which grabs us Mamello. We use our additional normal summon, grab the Bottomless, summon Light Flapper from deck, grab back our resources. And from here it's pretty usual. We summon the Scary Moth and we summon Heavy Cavalry, set the Bottomless and get back our Counter Trap in the end phase. We also didn't use skill during the combo, so we can grab whatever we want. The second variation of Beetrooper landing is not a combo in itself, but it will show you a way that you can change your combo sequences and still end up on the same board. For example, in this one we start off with Assault Roller and with Sting Lancer in hand, so we don't really need our searches, and we can even summon Saturnus in the main monster zone to bait hand trap, because normally, depending on the toggle on the hourglass, you can see which hand traps your opponent holds and can play around them accordingly. So we still start off the combo in a very normal way, but we send Resonance Insect instead of Sting Lancer because we already have Sting Lancer in hand. So we summon back the Scout Buggy, fuse it off with a random insect from hand, but summon Saturnus in the main monster zone. We can summon it in the main monster zone here because we already have a Sword Roller in hand, so if it gets hand trapped, which you can probably see because if the opponent doesn't have delay on Field Spell but has delay on Buggy, he will probably be holding an Imp or an Infect Veiler. So this kinda plays around that. So now we summon out your Sword Roller, send Gokipole here to search for Arbalest, because Arbalest will give us an additional body so we can actually combo without using the effect of Saturnus. If our opponent didn't hand trap us until here, we can discard a Sting Lancer, shuffle back cards with Pico Falena, and go into Atlas. This will give us Supply Soldier. Now we can summon back the Armorhorn, banish Resonance Insect and get Sting the Poison into the graveyard. Saturnus triggers with the Sting Lancer we hard drew. Gives us Counter Trap because there was no zero delay. Light Flapper can bring on back our resources. We still didn't use skill, so we can skill for Scary Moth. And here, instead of linking off the Armorhorn for the Papillon, we actually link off the 3 other monsters, because we have one more monster than we normally would on our board right now, so we need to make that space. So instead of sending 2 monsters away for Papillon, we will send away 3 monsters. It doesn't really make a difference, because the only thing that happens is that it has 200 more attack, but it still is a good way to get 1 more body off the board. And now from Papillon we can trigger the Supply Soldier, summon it out, Fusion Summon, and then Tribute Summon Scary Moth for a second normal summon. The last two cards that will be showcased produce the strongest one-card combos in the deck. First we go over Shuffle Reborn. Shuffle Reborn is obviously good because you can send Resonance Insect from deck to graveyard, and Shuffle Reborn alone lets your Link climb into the Link 4 by itself. Because you're very free and don't use your normal summon, you can go into Murmello and Scary Moth in the same combo. You can also set up Papillon in combination with the Scary Moth as well. The only thing to keep in mind in this combo is that you cannot send Sting the Poison of your Resonance Insect, because one of the sends has to be Light Flapper and the other send is Skokie Pole most of the times. With that out of the way, let's go into the combo video. So we opened Scout Buggy again. So just imagine one more card in the hand at the end. We need to start with Shuffle Reborn because it doesn't work if we have monsters on the board. We summon the Scout Buggies, we go into Armorhorn, search for Dozer. Dozer is our Nip checkpoint, because if there is only flaring up delay now, it might be Nip. We send Light Flapper to the graveyard, get into Picofalena to get Resonance Insect in rotation, shuffle back to draw and go into Atlas. At this point we were kinda lucky because we drew Sting the Poison, which we cannot search in our combo. So this combo will end on one more interrupt than the one card combo would normally produce, because we can actually revive Sting the Poison instead of Murmello with our Papillon at the end. So just from that we can search follow-up, but the combo is also really good into Shinobird and Odeon without hard drawing Sting the Poison. So we search for Scary Moth, we tribute the Atlas to trigger the Supply Soldier, go into Sting Lancer, grab Fusion Spell and then fuse off. Saturnus gets the counter trap and now we bring back the Armorhorn to get Light Flapper effect. Resonance Insects and Skokie Pole here. Skokie Pole basically gets another interruption for us. From there we just fuse off into Heavy Cavalry, go into Papillon, summon Murmello, and go into Scary Moth and settle back row. The second combo shows what you have to do to guarantee Sting the Poison in rotation. However, because you guarantee Sting the Poison, you will not end on your bottomless trap hole. So we start off with a regular hand and regular sense. We send Resonance Insect Scout Buggy, revive Resonance Insect, revive Scout Buggy, bring back another copy, go into Armorhorn and search for Dozer. That's like in the other combo. So now when we send for Resonance Insect, we actually send Skokie Pole instead and get another Resonance Insect. We summon that and link it off to get into Supply Soldier. Now we equip the third Resonance Insect from deck, shuffle back something, and go into Atlas. You can also summon the Supply Soldier later, it doesn't matter. Third Resonance Insect will add Light Flapper and Sting Lancer will add Fusion Spell. Now we fuse off the Light Flapper to have it in graveyard to banish it. Because now Armorhorn can banish the Light Flapper and the Resonance Insect. Resonance Insect gets you to Sting the Poison. This time Papillon was summoned into the main monster zone. You can do that to play around Security Dragon and Nightmares. So Flapper adds back resources, and from there you just activate skill, get Scary Moth, and proceed to build your end board. This time without bottomless trap hole. The third and last Shuffle Reborn combo is what you want to go for if you want to end on Atlas on your end board, because Atlas is quite good in some matchups. However, this requires you to open a random insect monster and a random Beetrooper monster in your hand already. And with that out of the way, let's get right into it. Right off the bat we open bottomless trap hole. Normally we search it during our combo, so just imagine we have one more card at the end. Besides that, we start off normally. We send Resonance Insect and Scout Buggy. We revive the Resonance Insect and bring back Scout Buggy. This summons another copy from deck. Now we go into Insector Picofalena. This time we need to go into it early, because we need to supply Soldier early. We banish Resonance Insect, get Dozer, and get Light Flapper into the graveyard now. Now we go into Armor Horn and now we grab Supply Soldier. This is so we can summon it before we summon Atlas. Now we go into Atlas and we go into Saturnus now. Normally Saturnus would grab Beetrooper Landing here, but since we drew it off Picofalena draw, we grab Scale Bomber instead, which we will not use during this combo. We bring back the Armor Horn, Resonance Insect and Skokipole, which gets us to Mermello. And this would normally search the bottomless trap hole here. Then we tribute it, get Sting Lancer, fuse off into Heavy Cavalry, and only now will we trigger the Saturnus to bring back the Flapper, so we can recycle the Sting Lancer. We didn't skill yet, so we go for Scarimorph. We tribute summon it and set our back row. The last card I want to feature in the combo section is Insect Imitation. This card doesn't see regular play, but it is in my opinion the most flexible card for every combo you can do. It's not only the best starter because you start off with 2 Resonance Insects instead of 1 like with Shuffle Reborn, which is also an insane starter, but it also gives you the opportunity to basically summon any monster you need from your deck, because the levels of your insect monsters are very convenient. So from Buggy and Scale Bomber, you can go into Resonance Insect or any level 4. You can also summon Mermello from deck, which triggers its second ability to destroy a spell trap. Your level 4 monsters can go into Supply Soldier. And if you leave Saturnus on your board until the end of the combo, you can just activate Insect Imitation and special summon Scarimorph from your deck. This is very powerful and very underrated. The only issue that card has is that it's not that good going second into Hope Harbinger. But into every deck that doesn't run it, it is probably one of the most flexible cards at your disposal. Because Insect Imitation gets you to every interruption your deck has to offer, I will not show any variations of it, but instead, after this combo is over, I can show you how it can help you have more options when you get hand trapped. So let's get right into it. So in this combo we open Mermello, which we normally search with Skokipole later, but that's fine. We just search something useless instead. So we start off, we summon Buggy. We activate Insect Imitation, tribute 1 Buggy and search Resonance Insect. We go into Armor Horn, and Resonance Insect will get us into our Dozer. Dozer will banish the Resonance Insect stamp. And now we can send Skokipole and we can send Light Flapper. Skokipole will normally search Mermello here. Then we normal summon Mermello. Grab our Trap Hole, go into Picofalena and get the last Resonance Insect into rotation. We shuffle back from Graveyard, and now we go into Atlas. Now we need to skill. Then we tribute off the Atlas to get into Sting Lancer. That also triggers our Supply Soldier. So now we grab the Fusion spell. Then Supply Soldier can fuse off a random insect. That gets us to Counter Trap, and now we can bring back the Armor Horn, banish Light Flapper, so we can bring back Light Flapper 2. The last Resonance Insect will then sting the poison into the graveyard. Flapper gets our resources back, and from there we can go into the full end board with every interruption available. So we end on Papillon, we will end on Scarimorph, Heavy Cavalry, and double back row. Before I showcase why holding Insect Imitation can give you incredible flexibility, I want to show you how the combo changes if you just draw one of the targets for Resonance Insect searches. So for example, here we hard opened the Dozer. So the combo starts out the same, but with Resonance Insect we get to search the Supply Soldier early, meaning we can also search the Scary Moth, which we grabbed off skill in the earlier combo. This frees up our skill. So I'll let it play out for a bit. So here we get the Supply Soldier. We send the same cards as before, so we send Gokipole and we send Light Flapper. This also stays the same. But this point is very relevant. Because we can already combo, we could also just forgo the Pico Falena if we feel Nip Delay here, go into the Atlas and set Counter Trap. There was no Nip Delay, but maybe there was an Imperm or something. Or Veiler. So we go Pico Falena, now we are also clear for Veiler. If there's still some kind of delay, we can go into Atlas. Get Scary Moth from Resonance Insect, because we already had one of the Resonance Insects, and now we actually set the Counter Trap. And at this point, the combo will just continue as normal, but we have protection in the back row because the Counter Trap is activatable this turn, and the endboard will be the same as before. So for the last replay of this guide, we will go into why Insect Imitation helps you beat hand traps. So this hand doesn't look that incredible, but believe me, it can play through almost any hand trap in the game. So because of a Light Flapper and Scary Moth in our hand, and hard drawing Buggy, we want to send Sting Lancer from deck to graveyard. The second card should be Resonance Insect, so we have setup in graveyard. We flip over Field Spell, bring back Sting Lancer. This is the first big test. Because if your opponent has a hand trap, you will probably hit Saturnus with it. So if we feel delay, we want to summon the Saturnus in the main monster zone, because we can still play without it. Because Buggy plus Insect Imitation, as you saw earlier, is a full combo. So there was no delay. But we'd still summon in the main monster zone, because we can link climb a bit differently. So we summon the Sword Roller, get Momelo. Momelo gets us the Trap Hole. Now we go into Armor Horn, and Armor Horn gets us to Scout Buggy. At this point, we could normally also go into Resonance Insect if we wanted to, but as the opponent didn't hand trap us at this point, it is best to hold the Insect Imitation because the endboard normally features no Scary Moth, but double back row, Heavy Cavalry and Papillon. And because we still can't keep the Saturnus on board, we can use it at the end of our combo to summon Scary Moth in addition to our full board. So it's basically just the same Insect Imitation combo again, but we did it with Sting Lancer this time. So we get another Resonance Insect into rotation, shuffle back our high level monsters. Drawing Sting the Poison is a nice bonus. Now we grab Supply Soldier, bring back the Armor Horn. Resonance Insect gets us the Scale Bomber into graveyard. Normally it could be Sting the Poison, but we drew it. Light Flapper can now grab back the Scale Bomber, which is an additional interruption because we drew Sting the Poison. Now we go Papillon. Papillon effect lets Supply Soldier summon itself. Now Supply Soldier can get the Sting the Poison into the graveyard. And we still have Insect Imitation to summon Scary Moth. So on this board, your opponent needs to deal with Scary Moth first. And if he does, you can just use Heavy Cavalry to banish it, which frees up a spot to summon back Sting the Poison from the graveyard, which frees up a slot, so you can summon your Sting Lancer from hand. And this is just too many interruptions to consistently break with any deck in the game. The only card that could actually do something here would be Sphere Mode, but even if we get Sphere Moded, there are still 3 to 4 interruptions left.